In this video, I want to set it up so with our line trace impacts, I want to be able to draw the position or draw the mesh visually at that location. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our character blueprint right here, and here we should have our build mesh. Now that build mesh by default, that is going to be our foundation. As you can see, it's kind of ugly and I really don't want it to be where it is. So I also want to make sure collision's actually disabled for this. So we're going to go down here, set the block all dynamic. I want to set it to no collision. So that way, there's no chance of that happening. And by default, I want to set it to hidden in game. So compile and save, and we should not be able to see it like so. Just to make sure, let's uncheck. Ready to press F8 and try to find it. There it is. So it's in the center of the world because we're not actually setting its location. All right, so let's hit play again, make sure it's not actually there, and it's not. Okay. So now what we're going to do is actually we can do a check. So press B to enter building mode. Press F8. There it is. Press B again to disable building mode, and it's gone. Okay, that works. What we want to do, we want to pretty much move that to wherever our line trace impacts at. So what we're going to do here is get our build mesh. We want to that component. Let's see, what is it for location? Because I don't want it to be relative. Yep, set world location. That's going to be our hit result. Dot location. And then the remainder here, we can leave the rest of the parameters as is and do our live coding. All right, so let's press B. And there we kind of go. We have it set up so wherever we're looking, it is actually going to place it. However, one thing I don't like, for example, I place it down here, my line trace stops with the impacts. It kind of follows the character. So as I rotate around and all that kind of stuff, it's rotating with the character. That's one thing I just realized that I'm not a huge fan of, and that's due to kind of the hierarchy. So as the character moves, the component is going to move with it. And that's something I didn't really think about. For the time being, though, that's going to be okay. But I do want to do some fixing up. So for example, if I do this and I look up, as you can see, it's no longer following. What I want it to do is pretty much disappear. So I don't want it to be here while I'm not making a line trace hit. And then when I do make a line trace hit, I want it to be there. So we're going to do an else here. So else build mesh set hidden in game to true because we want it to be hidden. And obviously, if that's not the case, we want that to be false. So this should show and hide it based upon our line traces results. So I press B, look down, there it is, I look up, it's gone. And all the same, like all of this. So, as you can see, you can get a rough idea of how this works. Again, I am not a huge fan of that setup. I also want to offset the camera really quick because that is really annoying me. I think I can just take the camera, just drag the camera over off the boom. And that should kind of take care of that. Yeah, that's a lot better. So now we just gotta come up with some sort of system for this. And my assumption is by default, we can have an actor that kind of handles this, and that is only local to the client. So if you were to make this for multiplayer, this would obviously be kind of handled a little bit. Sorry, not handled a little bit differently, but it would handled only on the owning client. No other clients would know about that actor because the client has authority over it. And that's kind of how you would dictate which and what to spawn. So I think in the next video, we're probably actually going to go that route instead. And that way we can easily have that actor be swappable. I think that's going to be a much better route to go. So that's what we're going to do in the next video. So if you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can find a link to my Patreon down in the description below, where I have a Team Deathmatch series just for Patrons, as well as you get early access to pretty much all of my videos, such as this one. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to join my Discord that's also linked down below, and I'll try to help you out. So I'll see you in the next video.